Hey guys, T7 here, coming a video today. Right, so as suggested by Galactic God, we all know who that guy is. Yeah, he suggested that I do a Rockstun deck for today, and it's been an interesting little deck. Well, I whipped it out of nowhere. I literally looked at a couple of deck lists, got the skeleton, and then basically changed it to how I would probably play it. But to be honest, Rockstun is a bit like Heroes in the sense that you basically got like 10 monsters that you build your deck around. So basically you can have a whole crap ton of traps, a whole crap ton of spells. It's up to you what you want to do with it. So it depends which direction you want to go. I mean, there's a lot of improvement to be made. I mean, like my extra deck isn't even 15 cards because I was like, you know what? I don't even use it. I mean, I might use Gem Knight Pearl. You know, I use a couple of different ones, but I don't really need rank 3s, and there just isn't enough rank 4s right now to be worth playing a whole 15 card extra deck. There's no point for it, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, I mean the deck is okay. I've noticed that it's not like Hunters in the sense like going first, going second kind of thing. Going first or second is irrelevant, but more likely it's more to do with what deck you're playing against. If you're playing against a special summon heavy deck, then Rockstun is a nice little deck to play. The fact that you have so much back row, you know, so many cards within Lances, Kaiser Colosseum if you want to run those, makes the deck really, really good. And especially if you go first, you can go Fossil Diner set 3 or something, and they're like, oh god, game. So that's always nice. But if you're playing against another deck that grinds, or you're playing a deck that is not special summon heavy, then this deck has so many dead cards, and it just hasn't got the damage, the impact to be able to handle playing anti-meta against anti-meta. So it depends solely on what you play. I mean, like if you play this deck if you're playing against something like Evil Swarm, this deck probably won't be able to come out on top. But if you're playing against dragons, if you're playing against anything like harpies, or you're playing against anything that special summons a lot, then this deck will definitely triumph. So let's take a look at a couple of replays I got. Right, so we have Rockstun versus Zombies as our first game, and it was kind of interesting. They special summon a lot, so I thought that would prove my point that I was talking about earlier. Right, so they just did some shenanigans, and you know, I basically summoned Quackimo Wall. The thing is that Wall is okay. It's just that a lot of players don't really play as many spells as they used to. So he draws Vampire Empire, which is now Vampire Kingdom. So he attacks over Hades. So I'm like, okay, my back rows don't really help much, but what can you do? So I summon Grandma, and he Veilers it. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So Grandma bounces it. I don't know why the hell he attacked it, but whatever. And Maxi. So I was like, hopefully my Maxis will come through for me. So I summon stuff, and he ends up having a Spirit Reaper, which is kind of a pain. But fortunately, he hasn't really got anything to work with. And he sets a Goblin Zombie. I had a thought it was probably Goblin Zombie. I doubt it was something else. So he deprisons my Grandma. So he summons Goku N, which is actually a very decent card. Obviously it's not good competitively, but in the context of this duel right now, it's actually very good because it's 2400. You know, it's pretty formidable. So I spend a few turns trying to get over it, and it's very difficult to get over it when you have no way to get over 2400 in Rockstun, so it's kind of a pain. So yeah, that sucks. And so he attacks Fossil Diner, but fortunately it gives me a monster to work with. So I run over it using Forbidden Lance, so it's something. And he can't summon anything because of Kaiser Colosseum, so he's kind of stuck for what he can do there. So I summon Sandman and make myself a pillow to get over Spirit Reaper. And he still can only summon one monster, so he can't really do anything with the cards that he's got. But I think he sets Turtle. Yep. And then I flip it up with Photon. I know that I'm going to get a draw off it. So he Veilers Fossil Diner, which is a great Veiler bait. So I get a draw off Turtle, and he summons Spirit Reaper. So I Black Ship his Spirit Reaper to make sure that dies as well. See, out of all the Xyz monsters I have in my extra deck, it seems that Black Ship and Papillo, like the only two ones that aren't Earth attribute, because realistically you want to try and avoid these as much as possible. Only go into them when you need them. Like for instance, only really go into Black Ship if it's a clutch play where you really need it to push through. And Papillo generally use it on a drag cassette token for game or something. But other than that, I mean, I'm using him quite brashly, where I should realistically be just doing Gemini Pearl and Alpha Ditch. So, you know, just to make sure that you can keep using your block golem, because it does require you to have Earths in the graveyard. Quackimo Wall comes down, adds another bit of protection against Dark Hole, but you know, he didn't have anything for it. So that was a pretty easy win. He couldn't really do anything. All of his cards were just cack. So that's it. So let's take a look at Rockstun and Bujin. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier, where it cannot be anti-meta. Rockstun against Evil Swarm will lose. Rockstun against Bujin will lose. So it's certain decks it can be good against. So in some sense, you could say that Rockstun is a meta core, rather than just playing it as a general main deck, because there will be times where you'll play against Bujins and you will never ever win, because Bujins can just outpace you even though they're anti-meta, because they're just newer. There's a newer deck, they do more. You know, the Fossil Diners are all dead, they don't do anything. So I tried to make things work, but I just knew that by this point he's going to draw to 4, he's got cards ahead of me, I have no answers for anything. So he gets back Yamato. So I summoned Sandman. Attack, Crane. So I knew he had Crane, so I brought it back again. Attack again, Crow. Negates the attack, summon Utopia. 4 able to negate a couple of attacks. He ends up using Centipede. I chain Lance. I had no idea he had Dark Hole, but he uses Dark Hole to kill my Utopia and save his Yamato. So he summons Mizukuchi, and I know that I've already lost by this point. I just don't have any cards in my hand to do anything. I knew he had Crane as well, which is always a shame. So a wall comes down, I attack it, he cranes, and I'm like, I can't do anything, so I'll let him attack for game. So that's it. And that's exactly it. I mean, like, I was too many cards behind. Fossil Diner would have never come on the field. Block Golem is my only way to get over it, but then when I try and get over it with my stroke or anything, they have the Bujinji Crane. So it's a very terrible matchup, and some decks have really bad matchups against certain decks. I mean, Gadgets have a really decent matchup against Evil Swarm, for example. Dragons have a good matchup against almost anything except for a couple of decks, but not to the point where they can't beat them anyway. So there you go. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed those couple of replays, and I hope it gives you a little bit of an insight into Rockstun. Not too much of an insight, because I can't spend 25 minutes going over them. So I'm going to look over comments from this video and the last couple of videos, and I'm going to choose a deck, and I'm going to play them and then make a video on it. So yeah, down in the comments, definitely do put down the deck that you want to see me play. If you've commented the same deck on a different video, then just bring it forward to this one, because I'll look at it again. I realize that you've posted it on multiple videos, so I'll go, okay, so you guys really want to see this deck being played, and you keep asking, so I don't want to let you guys, you know, not be heard. So there you go. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, the Thetcglover is out.